Greetings. I'm Deborah Gilroy, founder of Raison d'être Opera, and I want to thank you for joining us for this presentation of Pat's Perspectives. Our distinguished speaker is Pat Kent, an active performer in opera, oratorio, chamber music, and recital. She holds a DMA from the University of Minnesota and is on the music faculty of Augsburg University and Macalester College. Her impressive combination of artistic experience and academic excellence afford Pat unique perspectives on the opera, which she is able to articulate in fascinating ways, certain to enhance your understanding of this provocative Mozart masterpiece. We have posted the video links in the Zoom chat. We recommend that you use speaker view on full screen. Although this is a pay-what-you-can event, a donation of $10 is suggested. Remember that through May 4th, every donation of $10 buys you a ticket to our drawing to win a $100 voucher to a performance of Don Giovanni, courtesy of Minnesota Opera. If you're the lucky winner, you will be notified the weekend of May 4th. The winner of the drawing from this past week was Alyssa Brees. And now, without any further ado, RDO is pleased and proud to present Pat Kent as we explore the lingering question, can a feminist enjoy Don Giovanni?
Thanks, Deb. I think you said $100 voucher, and I think it's two. Isn't that right?
It is a $200.
I know, it's even better.
Oh my gosh, it's even better.
Yes. So I just wanted to let you know that this is actually like a historical reenactment of the Sunday presentation, because we had some issues with Zoom, because Zoom has changed its bandwidth settings, I guess. So when we had a lot of viewers on, we had trouble with the videos, but I think it's going to work fine today. Interpretations of Don Giovanni often rely on archetypes. Whether the Don is a sadistic monster or a charming seducer, the women are either victims or if given fuller characterizations. Donna Anna is frigid, Donna Elvira is a neurotic bitch, and Zerlina is a delicious, compliant little morsel. In truth, Mozart and DaPonte have given us a more nuanced, ambivalent drama giocoso. It is a dark comedy with an ending worthy of Dante. Little sidebar here. In opera's beginnings, the guys from Florence who invented it decided that the only stories worth telling were the ancient Greek stories. But of course, the people would want laughs too. So two types of opera developed: opera seria, the serious opera on the Greek subjects, and opera buffa, or comic opera. Goldoni actually invented this hybrid form, but Mozart's fuller depiction of the characters and the class inequities and conflicts in the text are revolutionary. As they did in Figaro, Mozart and DaPonte explore the abuse of class privilege and gender inequality. They shred the central myth of class privilege that rich people can't be bad. Don Giovanni got as far as he did with 1003 women because his class protected him. Don Ottavio even says he can't be that bad if he's one of us. The Don Juan myth was old news by the time Mozart's Don Giovanni premiered in 1787. The first version in Spanish was probably Tirso de Molina's play, followed by Moliere's treatment, and then the version that shares the most material with DaPonte's version, Goldoni's Don Giovanni Tenorio. These stories were adopted into many popular entertainments, including Commedia dell'arte, puppet shows, and even All Souls Day farces. Basically street theater. Viennese audiences would have known Carl von Marianelli's Don Juan oder der Steinerne Gast, or Don Juan and the Stone Guest, which was performed annually around All Souls Day. The Mozart DaPonte version presented audiences with a much more sophisticated, nuanced, and ambivalent version. Little known fact, DaPonte was friends with the real Casanova, who had some suggestions for DaPonte on the characterization of Don Giovanni. In Casanova's view, reciprocal deceit cancels each other out, as in the Zerlina Don Giovanni deceit. The original Don Giovanni was Luigi Bassi, who played the role for 20 years. Critics noted his beautiful, expressive, and fiery eyes, his soulful glow. A Dresden critic praised his lovely facial expression, his rounded, ingenious acting, and his expressive declamation. One of the early sopranos who sang Donna Anna opposite him praised his impeccable chivalrous elegance and seductive charm. Therein lies the rub. I remember the first time that I saw Don Giovanni. I wish I could remember who it was, but he was sexy with a capital X. So I asked myself, how can you like this person? He's a bad person, a really bad person. He's a sexual predator and a serial victimizer of women. And you're a feminist. This gets to the core of the modern dilemma with opera. In her vanguard study, Opera Are the Undoing of Women, Catherine Clément urges us to pay attention to the words and stories of opera, to reckon with the whole experience. She admits that opera attracts her, independent of the words, adds that when she knows the words, the passions, what is at stake, then opera wraps me totally in a world of fantastic clarity, of matchless life. And who hasn't experienced that? The music is then revealed in all its richness. There are two irreconcilable options, two irreconcilable ways of living and living opera, understanding it or not, enjoying the effects of all the actual implications, or being satisfied with what is known, what is not known, sorry. She states that in opera, the forgetting of words, the forgetting of women have the same deep roots. Reading the texts more than listening at the mercy of an adored voice. I found to my fear and horror words that kill, words that told every time of a woman's undoing. Indeed, many of the words and stories of operas, if we listen to them critically, are to a modern audience appalling. So many of the female characters are victims. The focus of a character like Madama Butterfly is her victimhood. But we adore the music, the artistry, the singers themselves. We must reckon with this ambivalence instead of ignoring it. What is it I love about Don Giovanni? Above all, the incomparable music, the jet propulsion of the story. In borrowing from Dante the idea of the contrappasso, basically that the punishment fits the crime, DaPonte opens his opera with the murder of the commendatore and ends it with the parallel death of Don Giovanni. In between, we suffer both the dread and the satisfaction that his punishment is inevitable. The German-speaking opera world of the late 19th century saw fit to gradually replace the image of the charming, seductive Don Giovanni, played by Bassi, with a sadistic monster. Moralism overtakes the nuance of DaPonte's version. Some productions, can we go back? Thank you. Replaced recitative with German dialogue that had a decidedly moralistic bent, especially in Catholic cities where there was heavy censorship. Early adapters mistook DaPonte's sophisticated critical rewrite for another version of the run-of-the-mill Stone guest story, but with better music. The German writer Rochlitz translated the libretto into German, taking many liberties that mess with the intent of the original, and this version becomes the standard in the German-speaking world. Other writers take the tale and make Don Giovanni into a romanticized superhero, Kierkegaard and E.T.A. Hoffmann among them, heroizing his rebellion against conventional morality. Even when productions restored the original Italian, the need to demonize Don Giovanni to make him representative of evil persisted. Holding the thought that he is a bad person and a charmer in the same moment did not fit the prevalent mold of morality. And I would also say that it does not fit the present moment. We want to forget that Donna Elvira happily spent 3 days with the Don, and Zerlina almost forgot herself and ran away with him. The women in this opera are compelling and complex. Donna Anna, for her part, never relents in her desire for retribution after Don Giovanni attempts to rape her and murders her father. Think about that for a moment. This dark comedy begins with those two crimes. And yet throughout this opera, we're pulled along by the magic of the music and the irresistible comedy. Donna Elvira forgives, Zerlina forgets, but Anna does neither, and in so doing drives the plot of the opera. Michelle, can you start the video? If the 19th century German portrayals of Don Giovanni heroize him for his sexual prowess, his courage, and his nonconformity, then Donna Anna becomes his foil. Anna is an upper-class Spanish lady who has etiquette where her feelings and brain should reside. Duty and honor are her watchword. Towards all her fellow creatures, she presents a coldly correct personality. This rather cruel description comes from the venerable Edward Dent. Anna is caught between padre and sposo. Many critics have characterized Donna Anna's inability to respond to her fiance's appeals to give it a rest already as evidence of her coldness, but Non Mi Dear gives the lie to that viewpoint. Marina Pavlovskaya. Sorry. Mozart's depiction of Donna Anna relies on the opera seria tradition. Her relentless drive for revenge against her father's murderer subverts an opera buffa solution. Mozart generally believes in forgiveness more than retribution, but Don Giovanni's story, his amorality, demands a different conclusion. Zerlina, in contrast, is most beloved of the critics. She is the natural woman who acts on her emotions, responds to the Don's flattery, his praise of her soft little hands, which are probably rough and calloused, and who sells her the classic line that he will take her away from all this. This is Rodney Gilfrey and Liliana Nikifenu.
Io soli saremo nella gioiello mio, ci sposeremo, ci darem la mano, mi dirai di sì. Vedi non è lontano, partiam ben mio da qui. Vorrei, non vorrei, mi trema un poco il cuore, felice versare, ma urlarmi ancor urlarmi ancor. Vieni, mio bel diletto, io cangerò tua sorte. Non son più forte, non son più forte. Vieni, ci darem la mano. Vorrei, non vorrei. La mi dirai di sì. Un poco il cuore. Partiam io da qui. Vieni, mio bel io cangerò tua sorte. Andiam, andiam, mio bene, a ristorarne bene, con innocente andiam, mio bene, a ristorarne bene, con innocente amor.
Zerlina is in many ways a canny opponent to Giovanni. The flirtation is transactional. She's a gold digger. He offers her his purse and she takes it. She nearly succumbs to our boy Don, but when Donna Elvira warns her of his reputation, Zerlina believes her, and in the end, she soundly rejects Giovanni. Zerlina is no fool. As a working class woman, she knows that in order to survive, she needs to reassure and win back Mazzetto. She does not really think he will beat her in Batti Batti, but sets out to beguile him. It's more like spank me, so Mozartian. She knows with the cleverness of one who understands her social station, the girl of a servant class, that Mazzetto is her hope, not the fancy pants Dawn. She is a practical woman, and she does what needs to be done, including extricating herself from the Giovanni mess, which she does after the warning from Donna Elvira, who can't make up her mind. When we first see her, she says that she wants to tear out Giovanni's heart. Yet, even after Leporello shoves Giovanni's cruelty in her face, she tries to redeem him. A note about this infamous Peter Sellers production. Leporello and Don Giovanni are played by identical twins, Herbert and Eugene Perry, respectively, in case you thought you were seeing things. Lorraine Hunt plays Elvira.
Che vero, bella Donna Elvira.
Sei qui, nostro felon nero.
E tutti gli cruscanti manco vale che lo conosce bene. Via cara Donna Elvira, calmate questa collera. Sentite, Lasciatemi parlare.
Cosa vuoi dire tu, pezzonzinera? In casa mia entri furtivamente. A forza d'arte, di giuramenti e di lusinghe, arrivi a sedurre il cor mio. Mi innamorio crudele e dichiari tua sposa. Poi, mancando della terra e del cielo il santo dretto, che ne dorme del letto, potrei d'amor gustare lontani. Ma abbandonmi e fuggi, e lascia in preda il remorso e l'attendo. Pena forse detta dai godendo.
Era un libro stampato. O in quanto a questo ebbi le mie ragioni. È vero, e che ragioni forti.
Sono tu perfidia, non leggerezza tua, ma il giusto cielo voglio che trovassi per fare i suoi liberi
Via, state più ragionevole. Quale accidente costei? Se non credete al labbro mio, credete a questo galantuomo. Non è vero. Via, dille un po'. E cosa devo dirle? Dille un tutto.
Vengo presto!
Madame. Bellamente. In questo mondo oggi sia cosa quando fosse che il padrone ne
Sciabrato, così del mio dolor gioco ti prendi. Oh, stelle, ma fuggi miserabile, dove in quel mare?
lasciate di vada e io non merda che a lui voi pensiate.
Scellato, ingannato,
Consolatevi, non siete voi, non foste e non sarete nella prima, nell'ultima. Guardate, questo non picciol libro è tutto pieno dei nomi di sue belle. Ogni villa, ogni borgo, ogni paese, testimon di spedoneste imprese. Madamina, del catalogo è questo, delle belle che vuoi padron mio, un catalogo lì che ho fatto io. Osservate, leggete con me, osservate, leggete con me. In Italia 640, in Armagna 231, 100 in Francia, in Turchia 91, ma in Spagna, son già 1.300, 1.300.
Elvira warns Ottavio and Anna that the disguised Don Giovanni had in fact violated both herself and Donna Anna. She even admits her own complicity, that she was sucked in by his charm and his promises. After warning Zerlina about what a bad boy the Don is, Elvira still forgives him.
fermati, scellerato, il ciel mi fece dire tu perfidi. Io sono a tempo di salvar questa misera innocente da tuo barbaro martello. Cosa sento?
Amor, consiglio. Idol mio, non vedete che io voglio divertirmi.
Divertirti, è vero! Divertirti! Io so crudele come tu ti diverti! Signor cavaliere, è vero quel che ne dici?
Povera infelice di me innamorata, e per pietà deggio fingere amore. Lo son per mia disgrazia, uom di buon core.
So that was played by Dorothea Rashman, and I certainly don't envy her trying to deal with that bumpy set in heels. Yet, Elvira is battered by her emotions, by her undeniable attraction to the arsehole, by her obsession with him. Later in the opera, she tries to win back the Don, who again calls her a pazza, a crazy lady, and belittles her. In the end, she can't get over him, but I think her character helps the opera make sense. She wants to redeem Don Giovanni, to drag him back to morality. This guy must really have had something. If this woman, with her uptight Catholic upper-class upbringing, the abandoned symbol of the mille lettres that the Don has loved and left, cannot get over him. Mozart and DaPonte bring to life three female characters that propel the action much more than Don Giovanni. Their rage, desire, complicity, and vengefulness propel the action. Donna Elvira's desire for redemption, Donna Elvira's desire for revenge, and Zerlina's desire for riches drive the plot. Sure, Leporello tells us that Giovanni has had thousands of women all over Europe. In fact, for much of the opera, Leporello is a stand-in for Don Giovanni. He's compelled to do the Don's dirty work and break the news to Elvira that she's nothing special. If he's honest, he pays for it. Giovanni makes him switch clothing so that Leporello is the brunt of a beating, not Giovanni. Leporello is basically the narrator of the show, and he sticks with Giovanni not out of loyalty, but because he needs the money. In the end, our Giovanni gets his because of the persistence of Donna Anna and as a result of his own arrogance. In the process, Mozart and DaPonte reveal women who are sexual beings, and not in a cartoonish way as they would have been in Commedia dell'arte. In many ways, they also rise above the prevalent class structure in exacting their revenge, particularly Donna Anna. And not incidentally, both then and now, this opera gives three virtuosic female singers an opportunity to make some real money. As singers, creators, and audience members who live in this present moment, we must grapple with these competing truths that many operas from the 18th and 19th century especially portray women in a way that we do not wish to be seen and do not wish to live. And that those depictions live in an art form that we cherish. We are portrayed as victims, as dupes, as objects, as idiots, as one-dimensional, as archetypes. We have to hold these competing truths, that the words and stories dehumanize women without denying opera's life force, its ability to completely engage our senses. In Don Giovanni, Mozart and DaPonte's Don Giovanni is more one-dimensional than his female characters. He may be smart, charming, seductive, and handsome, but he is a single-minded sex addict and a sociopath. As bad boys do, he sucks up so much oxygen. He wants women, all women. It's about power more than desire. He doesn't care how he gets them or how he wounds them. He's all about want. He becomes, in a sense, a projection screen where the other characters see what they need or want him to be. The women, in contrast, are more fully realized. They resonate with us as more authentic because they illustrate the conflict in DaPonte's libretto. Donna Anna wants to marry Ottavio, but she has this huge unwanted drama foisted on her when a man pretending to be Ottavio sneaks into her bedroom, then challenges her father to a duel and kills him. She then becomes single-minded in her desire for revenge. Donna Elvira is the most conflicted. She wants to get over the Don, but she just can't let go. Her drive for redemption for Don Giovanni, and therefore herself, persists throughout the opera. Zerlina is undeniably attracted to Giovanni, but she's no fool. She knows where her bread is buttered. When she is warned by Anna that the Don is a bastard, she dumps him in a hot minute. I wrestled with the postlude to Don Giovanni. DaPonte and Mozart wrestled with it too. After opening night, it was canned from that initial production and not included in subsequent productions. It may have been restored later to answer criticisms of its amorality. It is almost always included in contemporary productions. It attempts to tie up the ends of the plot in a Shakespearean bow. But in doing so, it poses as many questions as it answers. The traumatized Donna Anna, it turns out, is not ready to marry Ottavio. She says, give me a year, but is it really going to be a year? The emasculated Ottavio is still screwed. And what kind of marriage will Zerlina have with Mazzetto if he knows she has the capacity to be unfaithful? As for Elvira, she may be going back to the convent, but she will always be haunted by her obsession. And in the end, her salvation project failed. The postlude reeks of Christian condescension, but the religious and class structure will endure, undoubtedly enabling the next Don Giovanni. My initial reaction to the end of Don Giovanni was like mine at the end of a particularly compelling movie, but one that has an unsatisfying conclusion. Like, what the hell just happened? The moral ambiguity, the lack of resolution that Mozart and DaPonte depict is very modern. So to answer my original question, can a feminist enjoy Don Giovanni? In order to enjoy it, we have to live with the moral ambiguity of the plot. But we can't deny the power of the incomparable music and the compelling characters. For me, especially the female characters. Mozart gives us 3 female characters who are fully fleshed out, who act with clarity and agency, and who drive the plot of the opera. And Don Giovanni gets his in the end. Let's not forget, to our satisfaction. Don Giovanni was a groundbreaking opera in its day, refusing to live in either the opera buffa or the opera seria tradition, but boldly straddling the world between, delivering a Black comedy for the ages. I just want to recommend a few productions for further listening and viewing. So besides that Peter Sellers production with the twin Giovanni Leporello, which, by the way, the New York Times totally savaged, and I could watch it all day. I would recommend, there's a DVD, probably also, you can find it on YouTube, of a Glyndebourne production from 2010 that has English subtitles. And a historical recording I could recommend is Giulini conducting with Schwarzkopf and Sutherland in the roles. And there's a modern version with Yannick Nézet-Séguin, who's now the music director of the Met, and the Mahler Chamber Orchestra with Joyce DiDonato as Elvira. So as you can see, through May 4th, every $10 donation is an entry in a drawing to win a $200 ticket voucher to Don Giovanni, generously provided by Minnesota Opera. And I want to note at the bottom my main sources for this video production, and also many thanks to Michelle McCreary, who managed a very complicated video production, and to Gary Briggle for his insight, and to Tom McNellis, who helped me a lot with producing the video. So thank you very much for your attention. Please enter our drawing, and thank you so much for your support.